My camera come up here.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whenever or wherever you're watching or listening. This is the Awesemo NHL DFS Strategy Show, and I am your host, Michael Clifford, aka Slim Cliffy. Joining me today for the next hour as we figure out how the Tampa Bay Lightning are possibly going to blow this game tonight, our single entry assassin, Joshua Harris.
What's going on, man? The Leafs tried to blow it last night. But still, that was the first time the Blackhawks led in the game this season. So, man, Leafs frauds, Colorado frauds, Lightning frauds.
That's the thing, right? Like Toronto didn't blow it yesterday, but they had to come from behind against a team that hasn't led all season, that was missing Patrick Kane, and obviously going through that all that off-ice turmoil. I don't think 3 goals from the Leafs is what people were looking for, especially one from the third line. So it was kind of a weird slate like that. Like the high scoring team only put up 5 goals. There was only 5 goals in each of the first in all the early games. 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 4-1. Not a lot of high scoring yesterday. That Philly top line, I didn't watch the whole Edmonton game. I thought the Philly top line looked pretty good last night, and I think that's something to note. As they're one of the lines that we'll be looking towards on tonight's slate as well.
Yeah, that was a rough slate for me last night. Ended up, salvaging because I put a live bet on one of the professional fight league fights, and he was a big underdog after the first round, and ended up hitting that. So I ended up breaking even, but I got crushed in NHL. Going back to GPP tonight, when DK runs the big spin tournaments, I will play GPP. So looking forward to this slate. It's a nice size slate. There's some good spots, some good low owned spots, a lot of chalky spots that I'm not super convinced about. So I'm pretty excited about this slate.
Yeah, it is a big night because of the spooky spin, I think they're calling it, over on DraftKings. So it is definitely one of the biggest tournaments that we've had so far. Just looking at some of the scores from last night, we talk about goalies that get volume. Kevin Lankinen, he didn't even get the win last night, put up over 20 points just because he had the save bonus. Like, that's how valuable that save bonus can be, even if you think the goalie is in a bad spot. Was there anything else that really stuck out to you last night? We don't have a ton of time because we do have 9 games to get to today, but was there anything like, Dallas? We talked about Dallas a lot yesterday, and they kind of screwed the pooch again.
Yeah, I played Kudobin because I thought Vegas was going to have shot volume, but Dallas, I think, blocked close to 30 shots last night, and they just blew it at the end. So that stung the nostrils a little bit. So I'm looking forward to getting past yesterday and moving on to today. I was thinking about swapping off McDavid, but I was winning a good bunch of my head-to-head, so I stuck it out and ended up being all right. But
hey man, all right nights in DFS aren't bad nights. So we'll take an all right night every once in a while. For the chat, I say this hoodie is a salmon color, whatever you want to call it. I guess peach would be fine as well, but I think I'll just lean towards salmon. We're going to call this a salmon colored sweatshirt. I know you guys are in chat. We can see you guys talking. So if you could, while you're there, give us a thumbs up and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. That subscription really helps us grow the channel, keeps these shows coming constantly. Don't forget to hit the notification as well so you can get alerts when our shows go live. We have tons of shows coming up later today, and we'll talk about those. We have free premium tools and data up on the site, like NFL Showdown top plays for tonight, NBA Boom Bust for tonight, our NHL projections for anybody playing the spooky spin that isn't signed up with us. Our NHL ownership projections are up on the site as well. And if you're playing NBA DFS tonight, Adam Ship My Money Share, his deep dive article is completely free up on the site, and it's probably the most in-depth NBA DFS article you'll read anywhere.
And he head on figures last night playing NBA.
Yeah. He had a pretty big night himself last night. So definitely go check out his NBA DFS article over at Awesemo.com. And I just want to give a brief thank you to our sponsor, Yahoo Fantasy. We'll be talking about Yahoo Fantasy a little bit later, but thanks to them for sponsoring our show. All right, we do have to get through these games. We have 9 games to get through tonight, so let's get to the first one. We have the Arizona Coyotes going into Tampa Bay. Arizona has a 2.2 implied goal total. Tampa Bay has a 3.4 implied goal total. What the lines are going to, I mean, we have lines, right? The one that interests me the most on the Arizona side, I mean, the one that interests me the most is probably Kessel, Jaskin, and Johan Larsson. But this is a 2.2 total on the road on a 9-game slate. And these guys aren't getting a ton of ice time. So I'm not sure how excited I am exactly to play Arizona. Is there anything that really excites you about that team? And then why don't you tell us what you like from Tampa Bay?
I'm excited for them to move to Quebec, maybe. That's and by the way, Yahoo tonight, $1,000 to first for NHL. That's pretty nice size GPP over there for Yahoo. But anyway, Coyote is not super excited about using them tonight. 2.2 total on the road on a 9 games? Yeah, 9-game slate. I mean, if you want to one-off a Jaskin, because he's our boy, and you like pain. If you like pain and suffering and want to suffer with me and Cliffy tonight in the Discord chat, go for it. He's min-price, let you fit in some power play stuff that we'll talk about later. But really, I'm going to be out on the Yotes tonight. If you want to have like 1 in 150 of that second line just for prosperity, sure. But this is a Tampa game tonight, and I'm not super enthusiastic about their lines either. But the Yotes are probably the worst team in the NHL. So we have to consider them. Killorn's with Point and Cirelli, their ownership's like 15-16%. And that's just like, I get it. Like the Yotes are terrible. Their goalie it's like their 3rd or 4th string goalie for the Yotes, which, you know, for the Yotes is awful. Like, so I get wanting to use Tampa, and I get why the ownership is so high. I just don't know if I want to play a line that I don't have the utmost confidence in as a 3-man at that ownership. So I'm probably going to go to like a 2-man of Palat, Stamkos, or I'll just straight up power play stack them. Killorn, Point, Stamkos, do something like that. You know, Corey Perry is on the power play if you want to include him. Like if he was going to score any game this season, it's probably this one. So if you're looking for like a cheap Alex Chiasson type that gets top power play minutes at 2,600 power play 1 against the worst team in the NHL, you probably could do worse. I'm glad this was a big slate so I can be under the field and not be completely dead if, you know, Tampa goes off, but I'm just not super enthusiastic about this game.
Yeah, me neither. Like I was looking through some of Tampa Bay's numbers without Kucherov and Point, because that's pretty important here. Kucherov not going to be on the top line. Obviously, he's out probably until Christmas. Stamkos and Palat, when they're skating together without Point or Kucherov over the last 3 years, 2.2 expected goals for per 60 minutes, which is like league average, and a 45% expected goal share. Like they're not a very good line together. We talk about it a lot. Stamkos is a great like offensive player in the zone, but he's not a transition guy. He won't drive the play to super high levels. We do have some concerns about his injuries as well. So I'm not really excited about that Stamkos line here tonight. Like their ownership is coming in check, like around 5-6%. So if you want to use them, nothing against it. But I think we're going to see a ton of ownership on the Tampa Bay top line, and I just don't have much excitement, like other than a power play stack, like you mentioned. Like I'll go with a power play stack, but I need the best players playing together. Right now, they're just not doing that, and like I have no excitement there. So I'm not going to have much from Tampa. I don't think. Like Arizona, like again, I won't have much from Arizona either. Dmitry Yashkin, you mentioned, and I would just want to talk him real briefly. He was a guy that was in the NHL for like 5 or 6 years, and he was a great defensive player, but just couldn't bring it offensively. So he didn't get a contract, went to the KHL for 2 years, I think led them in scoring over those 2 years. And he's come back and he's looked like a different player, still great defensively, but added that offensive dimension. He's leading the team in shot rate. His ice time has climbed for 3 straight games. So if he can play 17, 18 minutes tonight, he's definitely a shot bonus threat. So don't mind him as a one-off, but yeah, that's it for me. I'm not super excited about this game. Like I said, Tampa power play stack, I might get there. I'm not stacking their even strength lines. On the blue line, Victor Hedman's price came down, but it's still 7,700. Jacob Chikrin's price has come down quite a bit, 5,700, but I've gone through my thoughts on Chikrin before. I still wouldn't play him at 5,700. So are there any defensemen here you like?
It's funny because Chernak didn't have a great game and his price went from 3,400 to 4,500. McDonough coming off a game where he had a goal and assist and his price went down to 3,100. So I don't mind punting McDonough here at all at 3,100. Hedman at 7,700 is just crazy. I would, just save that for power play stacks, but really McDonough. And then that's really it from this game. There's nothing I'm really want to play on the Arizona side.
All right, fair enough. Let's move along. But before we do, I see we have a super chat in our YouTube chat from Grade A Flicks. He says it's a $25 super chat. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. He says took down third in the DK on FanDuel, 1.5K win. Thanks, Cliffy, Jake, and Josh. Stacking the Philly versus Edmonton game was key, especially having a very low owned Philly 2, which in my opinion was the best lines with Calgary 1. Signed Arden from Yonkers. Congrats, Arden. 1.5K win last night. Love to see those. Anytime you can win, it doesn't matter. 4 figures, 5 figures, 3 figures, 2 figures. We'll celebrate you here at Awesemo. Thanks for the super chat. Really appreciate that. And congrats again. All right, let's move it along. Let's get to our next game here. We have the Calgary Flames going into Pittsburgh. Calgary has a 2.7 implied goal total. Pittsburgh has a 2.9 implied goal total. Sidney Crosby is not back yet for the Penguins. They thought he might be back, but he's not going to be in the lineup for tonight. So we're assuming their lines last game are basically going to be the same lines as this game. And of course, Calgary, I think they played, 2 nights ago against New Jersey and laid the wood, but this is 3 and 4 nights for the Flames on the road, I believe. So maybe they're getting a bit tired, and Pittsburgh has been a pretty good defensive team this year. So what do you like out of this game, Josh?
Yeah, there's a couple lines on Pittsburgh that I like. 2.9 total at home is a bit low, but that top line, Gensel, Rodriguez, Kapanen, and fully correlated on the power play, not super expensive. They're 16-2 to full stack. So yeah, I think they're going to avoid that Lindholm line. I think they send Bluger out against top comp at home. I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, just tell me I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot. Yay. Yeah. But yeah, that top line fully correlated on the power play. Listen, I'm not super enthusiastic about them, but their ownership's in check. They're 2, 3, 4%. You know what I mean? Like getting a fully correlated line against a team going 3 and 4 on the road at that ownership is going to interest me. So I do like Pitt 1 tonight. I'm glad Crosby's not playing tonight because he was 5,700 on DraftKings, which is a very bad misprice. That would have changed ownership landscape a lot. And I also like this third line for Pittsburgh, Zucker, O'Connor, Heinen. They don't have, Zucker's power play 1, O'Connor, Heinen power play 2, but they're very good cheap filler. They're not super, they're very cheap and they let you get in, the expensive stuff. Yeah, there's a question mark of Rantanen, which we'll get to later, but if you need a cheap filler, maybe you don't even have to full stack. You could 2-man O'Connor, Heinen, you could 2-man Zucker, Heinen, but at 1%, getting some power play time at that price is I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that Pittsburgh top line as well. I mean, besides just 3 and 4 for Calgary, it is 3 games and 4 nights on the road for them. It's 4 games and 6 nights on the road and 5 games and 8 nights on the road. This is their 5th game in their 8th night on the road, and then they go home after this. And we always talk about that go home trap, long road trip. Yeah. This is their last game before they head out. Do they even care about this one? They've won their first 4 games on the road. If they have a 4-1 road trip, I don't think they're going to be too upset about that. So I'm with you, man. I do like that Pittsburgh top line in this game. Evan Rodriguez has looked really, really good this year. Whether he's been playing on the second line or the top line, he's really helped drive the numbers both offensively and defensively of his line mates, which is something we probably shouldn't expect, but he's doing well so far. I think Calgary is a pretty good team here. So I'm not going ham on Pittsburgh. I'm not going to have 25 or 30% Pittsburgh 1. But yeah, I probably will have 10% Pittsburgh 1 in my lineups or something like that. I really do like them, especially where you said they're all perfectly correlated with a reasonable total and a fairly low price. On the blue line here, With Letang out, John Marino is probably the guy, obviously, because he's getting power play 1 minutes. I mean, I'd say the same thing for Rasmus Anderson on the other side in Calgary, but I just talked about how I didn't really like Calgary tonight. I'm probably not going to be on them. So I don't know why I would be on many of their defensemen. Are any of the D-men sticking out to you in this game?
Not really. I'd say I wouldn't even one off Marino. I'd save him for power play one stacks. I mean, he hit the shot bonus last game, but in like 112 career games, he only has 114 shots on goal. So like that was kind of an island performance from a shot standpoint. So I mean, I would save Marino for hit one stacks. Mike Matheson's getting more expensive now, 3,700. It's into a spot where it's okay, but I'd prefer him to be cheaper. So defensemen in this game don't really interest me too much.
Yeah, me neither. One guy I do want to mention is Blake Coleman. He's the guy that I think we always look to one off because he does have a really good shot rate. The worry about Coleman is always his ice time because he's generally kind of like a second, third line player. But with this team's injuries, he's been moving up to 16, 17, 18 minutes a game, and he's generally a guy with a very high shot rate. So I don't mind Blake Coleman here tonight as a one-off either. Casey DeSmith is starting in net. 7,900, and I think he's a better goalie than Tristan Jarry. I mean, goalies are goalies. Do you have any interest here?
I kind of like both sides of this game. I do worry about Markstrom just because of this road trip. It's a getaway game on the road, bigger slate. But 7,400, I'll take a stab here and there. Casey DeSmith, if you're using Pittsburgh stacks, perfectly fine. I think I'm going to look elsewhere for one-offs, but if you do one-off him, like I won't be like, oh, that's a terrible idea. I mean, it's always a good idea to play a goalie against a team going 5-8 and going home after. So,
yeah, I do like that. All right, we gotta keep this moving along. Get access to all the great Awesemo Plus tools and content for nearly every DFS sport out there with an Awesemo Plus weekly pass for $29.95. This includes full access to all the premium content and tools on Awesemo.com, including player projections, ownership projections, our premium Discord, lineup builder, and a whole lot more. If you're a new user of Awesemo Plus Platinum, then you can take advantage of the promo code we have for this show, which is NHL Strategy Show. All caps, all one word, that's NHL Strategy Show for 25% off your first week of Awesemo Plus Platinum. You can find the link to activate this coupon in the description of the video below. Of course, if you're only looking to play NHL DFS, then you can sign up for one of our Awesemo Plus NHL packages for as low as $3.95 weekly. Stop guessing, start winning, join Awesemo Plus today. And again, we do have free tools and premium tools and content up on the site. If you want to check us out before you spend any of your hard-earned money with our website, we have NFL Showdown top plays up on the site for anybody to peruse today. We also have our very popular NBA Boom Bust tool. I got to imagine Ship My Money used that last night for his six-figure hit. And we have NHL ownership up as well. So if you're taking part in that spooky spin, you got, a pretty big ticket sitting there or something like that, you want to double check the ownership. We have NHL ownership up on the site as well. So promo code NHL Strategy Show for new users that want to get 25% off your first week of Awesemo Plus Platinum. All right, let's move it along. Our next game is the Boston Bruins with a 2.6 implied goal total. They're going into Carolina. The Hurricanes have a 3.0 implied goal total. Boston played last night, and they jumbled their lines quite a bit. Don't really know what the lines are going to look like until warmups hit because, they don't have a morning skate and all that. The best we can do is their top line stayed together, and then Taylor Hall and Tomas Nosek looked like they skated together a lot as well. But honestly, I don't know how you even strength stack any lines from Boston outside the top line in this game, at least as of right now, until we get more information. Carolina, they've reunited their old top line of Svechnikov, Aho, Teravainen. But with the line matching, they're probably going to go into the teeth of that Boston top line. So that's not a great matchup for them. There are a lot of high-powered offensive players here. But it's only a 5.5 total. So maybe we need to tread carefully here. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah. I mean, Boston played last night. They lost pretty bad. I don't know if it was bad, but how good are the Panthers? Like that is a good team. Boston top line didn't do too much. Back to back on the road. I'm probably, with the line the lines up in question, I think, I'd save Boston one just for a little bit in MME, but outside of that, I'm probably not going to have much Boston tonight. Carolina, I really wanted to use the Svechnikov Aho Teravainen line, but if they're going into the Bergeron matchup, I'm going to be pretty light on them. They're coming in at 2-3%. And, if for some reason, they send out Stahl against Bergeron, I'd be more interested in the Aho line, obviously. But going into the Bergeron matchup, I'm going to tread a little lightly there. I think where I'm going to focus is Carolina 2, Kotkaniemi, Trocheck, Netchus. They're 1-2% right now in our current ownership run on Awesemo.com. But, they're going to avoid the Bergeron matchup. We just don't know what the Boston depth is going to look like in terms of lines. They played yesterday. So I think at 1%, they all get power play time. Trocheck power play 1, not just Kotkaniemi power play 2. They're not super expensive. They're 13-7 to full stack at 1%. That's some, and a 3 total. That's something I'm going to look at. So really from this game, is just Carolina 2, maybe a little bit of Carolina 3, and I'd use the top line sparingly in MME.
Yeah, I am going to have some of the top line in my 20 lineups, but again, I'm not going to go heavy on them. Like, you just don't need to, where they're coming in at like 3%. So I'm going to probably have them maybe 1 or 2 lineups out of 20, not a lot. I'm with you. I kind of like the depth from Carolina here more. Like Trocheck and Natchez. Like, Natchez looked his best last year skating with Trocheck. He didn't look his best last year skating with Aho. And like you said, they'll be staying far clear of the Bergeron matchup. Like, they're going to get those second and third line matchups. While Boston's still good defensively, it's a pretty big difference between going out like that top line right now. I think they're sitting at 1.1 expected goals against per 60 on the season. Like, there's just nothing going in against them. So while like I said, I do like that top line. I might have a little of them. I like the second line a whole lot more. And where the ownership isn't out of control, somewhere between 1 and 2%, I'm just fine. And I think it makes a nice spot where, you can do like a Trocheck, Kotkaniemi, D'Angelo, something like that. You can even mix in somebody off the top line, throw in an Aho, throw in a Svechnikov, throw in a Teravainen, and make that a power play stack. I just think that Carolina second line just match up so much better against the Boston depth than Carolina 1 does against the Boston top line. Looking down on the blue line, like, I noticed Jacob Slavin is a guy that we had typically played because he can shoot, he can block shots and all that. I noticed his shot blocking is down this year. Maybe it's just a small sample. They've only played like 6 games or something like that. So we'll see. I think I might play Brett Pesce at the same price. I don't know how you feel about that. Charlie McAvoy 6,300. I think that's just like, I don't even know how you do that in your Boston power play stacks.
Yeah, I'm pretty much out on the Boston blue line here. Going off of Mike Riley or a Grizzly. Sure, like, I'm not super fond of it. D'Angelo for, Carolina 1 or 2 makes some sense. I think I'd rather use Brady Shea or Ethan Bear to Slavin. Like, we're 4 games in, and I'm not super enthusiastic about anyone on the blue line. So hopefully there's some defensemen in the later games that I like more, because I have to play 2, and I'm just not excited about anyone yet.
We do have to play 2 defensemen, so we do have to get some guys in there eventually. I mean, I think Mike Riley probably is fine if you want to punt. He's a fairly good offensive defenseman, but again, here, I think for me, it's just Brett Pesce I would use as a one-off. Other than that, D'Angelo correlating in lineups. The goalies here aren't super cheap. Like, Swayman 7,700. I think that's fine.
Yeah, Carolina shot volume team. I don't know if I'm going to play goalie back-to-back on the road. I know he didn't play yesterday. Did he play yesterday? No, it was Ullmark yesterday. So, Swayman's going to be fresh. The team's not super fresh. I think it's fine if you're using Boston. Freddie at 8,100 concerns me a little bit just for shot volume. I'd probably save him just for correlated stacks.
Fair enough. All right. Let's keep moving then. Colorado, 3.1 implied goal total going into St. Louis. The Blues have a 2.9 implied goal total. Pretty big injury news out of this game. Ryan O'Reilly's on the COVID list for the Blues. They said he's going to be out probably until next weekend at the earliest, so he's not coming back anytime soon. Mikko Rantanen left morning skate today with an apparent injury, and he did so before their power play work. So he wasn't even good enough to stick around to do some power play work with the team. That scares me, but I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't on Colorado to begin with. They moved Gabriel Landeskog down to the second line. Mikko Rantanen up to the top, was obviously staying up on the top line, but I didn't have any interest in Colorado without the top guns together. Now that Rantanen might be out and that game starts an hour after the slate locks, like, I don't know if I want to be cheap. Like, if Mikko Rantanen is all of a sudden out, there's really not a lot later on the slate that you can just pivot to. Like, I guess you can slide in Kyle Connor. I guess you can throw in a Timo Myers, something like that, but you're going to be throwing $1,000 of your salary into the trash. So I don't know, man. I'm out on Colorado. I was out on them to begin with. I'm even more out on them now that Rantanen is doubtful or is questionable. I don't know what you think about this game.
Yeah, if this was a 7:00 lock, then maybe I'd have some more interest. But 8:00 with question marks on the lines, like, it's just tough. Like, people are going to one-off McKinnon anyway. They're going to put two mans with Burakovsky and McKinnon. They're just going to be super high owned. And yeah, Ryan O'Reilly's out, but the Blues are still a very deep team. They're a good defensive team. There's question marks obviously in net, but Gerard's still out for the Avs. You were talking about puck moving defensemen in our Discord chat, how important that is to some of these top lines. And 3.1 total on the road, I get if you want to play, but like the ownership is just too much for me. Especially with the lines in question. Yeah, Landeskog's probably going to move up, and it's going to be Landeskog, McKinnon, Burakovsky. But at their ownership, the matchup, just everything, the news, like, I'm probably just going to tread very, very lightly and with caution, just because, I'll build expecting Rantanen's out, but like if he's in, it's going to be really, really tough to adjust your lineups as well. So on this big of a slate, I'm probably going to take a pass. On the Blues, I like this third line, Thomas, Tarasenko, Barbashev. They're going to avoid the McKinnons of the world. They're going to get depth of the Avs.
I think most importantly, they're going to get the depth of the blue line from the Avs. They're not going to see a lot of Makar Byram.
Yeah. And, Tarasenko on the third line, but really he's a bona fide top six winger. Like, it's no secret. And he's getting these cupcake matchups. So, Rob Thomas plays very well at Tarasenko, so I don't mind that two-man. They're not coming in very high-owned at all. They're reasonable. So I do like that two-man. You want to include Barbashev for a full three-man, that's fine. That second line, Kyrou Buchnevich, is fine. I'm not a huge Bozak guy. That top line is okay, but they're probably going to get the McKinnon matchup, which, isn't as dangerous with Rantanen possibly out, but it's still like I'm going to take a pass. So really the only line that I like from this game is St. Louis 3.
Yeah, I do like St. Louis 3. I just want to explain why I wasn't super high on Colorado to begin with. A lot of Colorado's value derives from their power play. It's the same thing with Boston one, right? Like, a lot of their values derive from the three of them being great on the power play together. St. Louis is the least penalized team in the NHL so far this year. Now, whether that persists or not, I don't know. But like, do I want to spend, $24K, I think it is, for Landeskog, Rantanen, and McKinnon? $30K if you include Makar on the road against a team that is the least penalized in the NHL right now, even if they don't have Ryan O'Reilly. Like, I think, like, for Colorado, I'd probably be more interested in the second line, because if something's screwy there with the lines, I think it's easier to mix and match like a $5,000 Kadri and a $5,000 Comfer and a min price Jost or a min price O'Connor than it is an 8,300 Rantanen and a 7,100 Landeskog. There are just more options in that range. So I think if you're going to stack Colorado, I think the second line is probably where I would go, but we just don't know what the second line is going to be. So I'm with you. I do like St. Louis 3 here tonight. I also like St. Louis 2. I think I like them more than you do here. Bozak, like, he's not good, but he's not awful. Like, he's at least an NHL center. You know what I mean? So that's something. And I think a lot of Kyrou and Buchnevich. And they're both on the second power play unit. So you can just leave Bozak off, put the two wingers on, and go about your day. Maybe throw Rob Thomas on there if you want to. So that's where I'm at with the Blues. I like the second and third lines both. On the blue line here, Justin Falk stays expensive, 6,100. I assume Bo and Byron's going to see a ton of ownership at 3,500. Is there anybody else that sticks out?
Not really. I mean, the defenseman tonight is just, it's like a wasteland. I think the only one I like so far is Ryan McDonough, but 6,100 for Justin Falk. Like, get out of here, DraftKings. What are you doing? Like, Colton Parayko, 5,400. I guess is okay. But really, Bowen Byram, 3,500 is where I'm looking. That's really about it. And on a scale from 1 to Yori Laterra, where's Tyler Bozak?
Yeah. Yori Laterra, there's a name I haven't heard in a minute. We have partnered with Yahoo Fantasy this NHL season to bring you some great offers. Check out our exclusive limited time offer, which gets you 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. To qualify, you need to be new to Yahoo, sign up for an account via the link below, deposit and play. That's it. Yahoo will send us your name after you play in your first paid contest, and we will reach out via email with your coupon. If you need immediate access, email support@awesemo.com and we'll get you set up. You can also claim a free $10 below, which can be used to enter any Yahoo contest. Make sure to use our premium DFS tools and projections designed specifically for Yahoo to give yourself the best shot at winning. And I always talk about it. I think one of the big perks playing over there, 12% management fees. You save 3% on every dollar you play, 3% on every dollar you play if you're playing $100 a night. It doesn't take long for that to add up. So 12% management fees, very good. And so, like, you won't see a ton of the Sharks that you will on DraftKings and FanDuel over there. So if you're just getting your feet wet, it's a great spot to go as well. So thanks a lot to Yahoo Fantasy. Remember that if you want a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum, you just need to be new to Yahoo, sign up for an account via the link below, deposit and play. Thanks again to Yahoo Sports. All right, let's keep moving. Philly, 2.9 implied goal total going into Vancouver. The Canucks have a 3.1 implied goal total. Philly just played last night, beat Edmonton 5-3. Like I said earlier, I only saw the first period, but it was a pretty good game. Vancouver looks like they're going to stick with their lineup, which is Elias Pettersson on what is, I guess it has to be their third line. Not sure what they're thinking, but I actually don't hate that spot. I'll get to that in a minute. What do you like out of this game, Josh?
If I had hair to pull out, I would pull it out with these Vancouver lines. Like, I just want them to play Elias Pettersson, JT Miller, and Brock Besser, all fully correlated on the top power play. No, let's put Besser on the second power play. Got to get Chiasson in on the top power play. Got to mix up these lines. My favorite goalie to stack against is in net tonight for the Flyers. Party Marty, Senor Fiesta, Martin Jones. And I can't really do it. And it makes me sad. Bo Horvat, Connor Garland, Tanner Pearson, they've been bad together this year. They're also going to get the Couturier matchup. So adios, Vancouver won there.
Yeah.
See ya. JT Miller, Brock Besser, Vasily Colson, he's min-priced. That line's okay, getting, the Brassard matchup or, the Lawton matchup. I think that's okay. I wish Pettersson was there, but there's no power play correlation there, and it's annoying. That third line is okay, too, for the Canucks. Pettersson, Hoglander, Bailey. Like, Bailey is min-priced. He's pretty active, at least from a shot blocking standpoint. I guess that's what I'll say about Justin Bailey, but they're going to get depth of the Flyers. They're going to get, Martin Jones and net. I think you can mix and match these second and third lines to get a combo that you want. If the Flyers get ahead early here tonight, I would imagine we're going to see Pettersson, Miller, Besser together at some point. There's no ownership on the Flyers outside of Couturier tonight. And I think this is a pretty good spot for them. The Canucks aren't very good defensively. The Flyers are coming off beating the Oilers. So if you want to get away from that Couturier line just because you don't like the ownership, I think the second line's also fine. Farabee, Brassard, Atkinson. They're coming in under 1% like they were yesterday. And I think that they're a good line. Atkinson had 2 goals yesterday. Broussard didn't have a great game, but it is what it is. I think you can use both of Philly's top lines here. So really, I wanted to use the Canucks. I think you can. You just avoid the top line here and you mix and match from the second and third line, or you power play stack if you want to get Horvat in. And I think there's some stuff to like on this Flyers top 6, and they're coming in pretty low owned.
Yeah, there is a lot to like at that Philly top 6. I do like that top line for Philly as well. I'm going to wait to see because I haven't run my crunches yet, so I'm going to see how much I actually get to them. It's the Vancouver third line I want to talk about. Okay, it's Elias Pettersson and Nils Höglander down on the third line, and that kind of sucks. But Elias Pettersson's probably not going to play like 13 minutes or whatever it is. Here's the thing. I think Nils Höglander is a wildly underrated hockey player. I was looking at some of his micro stats from last year. Nils Höglander was the only Vancouver forward to be above the league average in both shot rate and playmaking, like shot assists. So he was not Pettersson, not Miller, not Besser, not Horvat. It was Nils Höglander was their only forward last year to be above average both by passing and shooting. So, and the only reason he didn't put up monster point totals is because he was stuck on the second power play unit the entire season. He's still not going to get top power play time now, but I think it speaks to just how good him and Pettersson probably could be together, especially if you're playing against the third and fourth lines from the Philadelphia Flyers. Like, if you're going up against that fourth line and you got Nick Seeler and Keith Yandel on the blue line, Pettersson and Höglander are going to torch them. The problem is Pettersson's super expensive, right? I think he's over $7,000 on DraftKings still, which is just, it's an absurd price to pay for him. And that's probably what's going to keep me from getting to a lot of him. It's just, I think that Vancouver third line is in a really, really good spot. So that's kind of where I'm sitting on this game. I'm with you on Philly 1, also on Philly 2. But I'm on Vancouver 3 here, more on the 2-man of Höglander and Pettersson. I understand that it is expensive, but I think they're both undervalued and underrated compared to how good they are and how good they can be. I mean, we're not going to have any ownership on them. Like, Nils Höglander is going to come in at 1%. So I think it's a good spot, at least to get a little bit of ownership if you're playing 20 or 150 lineups or what have you. On the blue line, obviously, I guess if you're playing Vancouver power play, but they have one forward on each of their forward lines on their top power play unit. So good luck with your power play stacking. So I don't even know how you would get Quinn Hughes into your lineups. I don't know, maybe Tyler Myers, 4K. There's just not a lot on this blue line that really excites me. Ristolainen 50 or Provorov 5,500, I guess.
Yeah, Provorov's not too bad. Travis Sanheim, if you want to punt 4,200, that's not really a punt. It's kind of in that Muzzin price range. Yeah, again, another game, not super enthusiastic about the D-men. Hopefully we find one so I can play too.
Yeah, maybe we'll find one in this game. Buffalo Sabres, 2.6 implied goal total. Going into Anaheim, the Ducks have a 3.0 implied goal total. Anaheim just had their morning skate, and I posted it in our Discord literally like 4 minutes ago. They're keeping the top line of Zegras, Raquel, and Henrique together, but they're removing Max Comtois to the fourth line. And I've watched enough Ducks games to know he's not their 8th best winger. Like, this is Eakins pushing a guy that knows he's their best winger right now to the limit to try to get him to be better. And it's just really frustrating for me as a DFS player, but that's neither here nor there. So Sam Steele's going to join the second line with Getzlaf and Troy Terry. Kent Comtois down to the fourth line. This is important because we have a ton, and I mean a ton, of Anaheim ownership here tonight. We have either their first or second line in about a quarter of all lineups here. That's a lot. And I was talking in our Discord that I don't really get it because Anaheim's look pretty bad all year and Buffalo's look pretty good, at least offensively, all year. So, like, I don't get why people think this should be such a lopsided game for the Ducks.
Yeah, and like you, I've watched way more Ducks games than I'd like to admit, but 21% on this top line for the Ducks. Like, I don't even know where to start. Like at that ownership, I have to fade them. Like this isn't an elite line. Like, yeah, there's some nice name value there. Like Zegras is going to be a nice player. Like he's going to be a very good center for the Ducks. Ricard Raquel, very nice player. Gonna be a good player, is a good player. Adam Henrique, we know he's got a long history in the NHL. This isn't a 3-game slate. This is a 9-game slate. And they're going into the best team in the NHL, in the Buffalo Sabres. Obviously, they're not the best team, but they've looked good this season. Like, I don't know, up is down, left is right, right is left. Like, I don't understand what's going on this season, but Buffalo's been very good defensively. Craig Anderson, listen, we've talked about last season, like, eventually Mike Smith's going to suck, and he didn't. But, like, Craig Anderson's been good. Like, goalies are some of the most streakiest athletes.
Just look at Marc-Andre Fleury, Vezina last year.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to calm down, Avery. Craig Anderson has been playing very good. Like at 21% ownership, I can't do it. Like I like that line. Don't get me wrong. Like they looked like very good value to me when I was looking at the slate last night and this morning. But at 21% ownership, I just can't. I just can't do it. The line that I like in this game, I'm going to go back to that Buffalo second line. You know, the Ducks have not looked good at all. I don't understand their 3 total at home. I think that's honestly, if the totals were reversed, I wouldn't even notice.
Thank you. That's kind of my whole point here.
Yeah. Like I don't think anyone would be like, oh, okay. So like that second line of Buffalo, yeah, they've like slowed down a tiny bit, but their numbers are still really good. They fully correlate on the top power play. The Ducks don't have any defensive lines that make you go, well, I don't want to play them. So I think the Buffalo second line is the line that I like from this game. And I think I've talked way too much about the Ducks Sabres, so I'm going to kick it back to you.
Like, I think this is the most in-depth you've got on any game so far today, but we very much appreciate it. Yeah, that second line for Buffalo has just been really, really good. Shot attempt share, 58%, expected goal share, 62%. Like, Tage Thompson was a guy I was always really high on. I thought he needed – I don't know what he needed to put something together, and they moved him to the center, and he just seems like a completely different, not a different player, but just a more effective player. And that Buffalo second line is probably going to see like a lot of that Anaheim top 6, and like there's just nothing that scares me from that Anaheim side. So like I'm not going hog wild on the Buffalo Sabres here tonight, but yeah, I'll probably have an Olofsson one-off or a couple Thompson Olofsson two-mans or something like that. I am going to have a little bit of Buffalo here. And to your point about puck-moving defensemen, the point I made in our Discord earlier is that you see teams like Vancouver and Montreal struggling because they have like 1, maybe 2 guys that can move the puck. And what we were talking about was Colorado, because they're playing Byram and Makar on the same top pair, and then they have no puck movers anywhere else on the blue line. So anytime their second or third pair is on the ice, they really struggle moving the puck. And I think that Buffalo is kind of the reverse of that right now. You look at the Buffalo defensemen, yeah, they're not elite, but Dahlin, good puck mover. Will Butcher, good puck mover. Jacob Bryson, good puck mover. Colin Miller, good puck mover. Mark Pissick, good puck mover. The only guy you can't say is really good puck mover is Robert Haig, and he's playing like 14 minutes a night on the third pair. It doesn't matter. So, like, I think we need to start giving these Buffalo defensemen a little bit of credit, and maybe it doesn't make Buffalo a high-scoring team, but it won't make them a doormat like it was last year either. So I do like a little bit of Buffalo too. They are coming up in price a lot, so you're going to have to watch which lineup you get them in. But I do like that matchup. I'm with you. I'm out on Anaheim 1. Anaheim 2, I could kind of see myself getting into maybe a little Getzlaf Terry, because I do like Terry. Price is reasonable, but
Lars just got confirmed.
Oh yeah, and Anthony Stolarz just got confirmed in net as well. On the blue line, I do like Jamie Drysdale 4,400. His price is coming up. I do like Jacob Bryson as a punt for 2,900. Is anybody else sticking out to you?
Yeah, Drysdale I'm on board with for sure. Josh Manson, this guy I'm looking to punt. His ice time's been a bit down, so that is a worrisome, but 2,700 is an okay price. Rasmus Dahlin, if you're using Buffalo 2, makes some sense. And obviously Bryson, like you mentioned, if you're punting.
All right. If you want to get into the Awesemo Hall of Fame, this is how you can do it. We download the Awesemo avatar from awesemo.com/avatar. Place in the top 3 of a contest with over 5,000 contestants, and then tweet the wins to the Awesemo Hoff account. You do that, you can win a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Note that you can only win 1 free month a year. So if you keep winning big every month, you don't get a free Awesemo Plus Platinum every month. But again, if you keep winning big every month, you probably don't need Awesemo Plus Platinum anyway. You'll probably just retire at the age of 40, like every good DFSer should. Oh, yeah. We're only 8 minutes left. We do have to get through these games. Let's get to the next one. Minnesota Wild 2.9 implied goal total going into Seattle. The Kraken have a 2.7 implied goal total. Seattle not expecting any lineup changes outside of their fourth line. It looks like Nathan Bastian's going to draw in, but Minnesota looks like they're losing Matt Zuccarello on the top line, and Kevin Fiala, literally it just dropped. Kevin Fiala is moving up and taking his spot. So the top line's now Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek, and Kevin Fiala. Boy, howdy. I think I finally found myself a line that I'm really excited about tonight.
Yeah. Kevin Fiala has line mates. I feel yeah.
You got to do like the Righteous Gemstones one where he's like that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, I'll be interested to see what their ownership's going to be like in the next run, because right now it's like 1-2%. That's probably going to come up. Seattle's a decently defensive team. Philip Grubauer is a pretty good goalie, but they're not world beaters, and there isn't like a super tough defensive matchup that has me wildly concerned here. I really like Minnesota one tonight. It does worry me a bit that they're a one-line team, but that is a bit that makes me worried that maybe I'll like some Seattle stuff. I'll have to throw extra teams in the mix here. So I do like the Wild top line for sure. I really think Yanni Gourde is underpriced still. He's getting over 20 minutes a night. He's power play 1, 4,200. I think in cash, if you're looking for a second center, I think Yanni Gourde is a good play. Jaden Schwartz down to 2,800, still on the power play. That 2-man for a power play combination, 7,000. So, they're 9,700 to full stack. If you want to include Yarcroc, like that's a silly price. That second line is okay as well. My boy Donskoy with Wenberg and Eberle. Wenberg at 3,300 is acceptable. Stacking Wenberg at 6,100 get you an automatic 6-month ban from DraftKings. So, but at 3,300, he's perfectly fine. So Minnesota one, I do like some of these Seattle lines. I'm probably going to be light on Seattle though, outside of Gourde, and interested to see what the ownership looks like on Min one.
Yeah, I do like Seattle. They are coming in, a little over-owned, but nothing extreme, like 4 to 5%. So I'm with you. I think I might try to power play stack something from Seattle here. Gordon Schwartz are on the top line and the top power play unit, and Minnesota is one of the most penalized team in the NHL. So I'm with you on Gordon Schwartz. But I do like the Minnesota top line a whole lot tonight. They're one of my favorite top lines on the slate now that Kevin Fiala is there. On the blue line, there aren't many guys that I'm looking towards here outside of correlating Giordano now that his price has come down with the Seattle top power play, or correlating Spurgeon with Minnesota. Is there anybody else that jumps out to you here?
Yeah. Jamie Alexiak min price, Hayden Fleury min price. Lock button. No, but seriously, Alexiak had a couple assists last game. His price went down. He's been priced. If you're going dumpster diving for a guy like a super punt to fit in your guys, Alexiak's fine. Fleury's fine. Spurgeon's a guy I'm going to look to play with Minnesota one. Other than that, if you want to, one off Jonas Brodin, I think he's a decent shot blocking punt as well.
All right, let's move it along. The Winnipeg Jets have a 2.8 implied goal total. They're going to Los Angeles. The Kings have a 2.7 implied goal total. The Kings are going to be missing their 2 best puck-moving defensemen probably for a while, with Drew Doughty out, I think, 8 weeks, and they said Sean Walker is out for the rest of the season. So that's going to move Alex Edler to the top power play unit for Los Angeles. Blake Wheeler might be back for Winnipeg tonight. He's been taken off the COVID list. He practiced with them yesterday. I haven't seen anything today from morning skate just yet. What do you like out of this game, Josh?
I really want to like the LA top line, but like you said, their puck moving defensemen are out. Their ownership's over 15%. They are getting Eric Comrie in net and the Winnipeg penalty kill isn't great. So I don't mind LA1. I wish they were going to be a bit lower owned. If they're coming in like 7-8%, I'd probably be more interested. At their current ownership, it does concern me. And I think Arvidsson's off the top power play, right? If I remember the power play units correctly, like it made no sense. Edler up to the top power play. They moved Arvidsson down to the second. So I think I'm going to be under the field on the Kings tonight. On the Winnipeg side, it'd be interesting to see where Wheeler slots in. I would imagine if he does come back in, he'd probably slot in for Evgeny Svechnikov and go Connor, Dubois, Wheeler, and then Stastny-Cop, Ehlers. I do like that Stastny-Cop, Ehlers line again. Their ownership is a bit high, but it's still in check. It's coming in under 10%. They fully correlate on the power play. I think they're my favorite line on Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm in on that Los Angeles second line. That Winnipeg second line has just been bad. Like Evgeny Svechnikov is not good defensively. Kyle Connor's a real bad defensively. And Dubois is a better offensive player than he is defensively. So Danault and Kempe, a little mini two-man secondary power play stack. I really like that. So for me, it's Los Angeles 2 out of this game. Obviously, Matt Roy, 3,600, or Alex Edler, 4K, power play 1. Anybody else?
I mean, Neil Pionk, if you're using Winnipeg side, and Brandon Dillon, the punt, but not really interested in anyone else on the King side besides, correlating with power play.
All right. Before we get out of here, we have one more game to get through. I do see over 100 people here, but only 52 likes. So if you could, please like and especially click that subscription button. Boosting numbers makes us look good for our bosses. We're getting close to 65,000 subs. If you don't like us, you can just unsubscribe, but I'm pretty sure you guys are going to stick around. Coming up a little bit later on the show after us, we have the Yahoo NFL Thursday night live show coming up with Adam and Greg. Then we have the Jockmark, and then we have the Sunday preview live show rolling in with Eton and Eric. And then later on, we have our NBA deeper dive with Eric and Adam at 7 Eastern, and then our NBA live before lock at 8 Eastern with Greg and LaMarca coming up. So we have NFL and NBA coming up for hours on this. So lots to get to, but we have one more hockey game to get through real quick. Montreal Canadiens 2.6 implied goal total going into San Jose. The Sharks have a 3.0 implied goal total. I'll tell you right now, I like Montreal too. That's the Dvorak line. I'm probably going to have a little bit of San Jose 1, but not a lot. What do you like out of this game?
Yeah, nothing to get you excited on a Thursday night, like a Sharks late hammer that let you down. So their ownership is drawing me to them. They're going to be low owned. I like that top line. I agree with you on Montreal too. They're the only playable line right now. I saw people mentioning Toffoli Caulfield 2-man. I guess it's okay, but they've been terrible together. Hoffman, Suzuki, Gallagher is okay, but really Minnesota or Montreal 2. I'm a bit higher on San Jose 1 than you are, just from an ownership standpoint. But I'm ready to get hurt again with them.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. I'm going to ask you for your goalies and for your hat trick pick. My goalies for today, I was going to have Thatcher Demko, but I guess he's sitting. So I'll go with Yaroslav Halak and Jake Allen. And my hat trick pick is Elias Pettersson. Who do you got?
Goalie is a bit interesting. I kind of like, who was it? I wrote it down. Now well, my hat trick pick is going to be, man, I am just losing my mind right now. Kevin Fiala.
There we go.
I also like Cam Talbot in that.
Kevin.
Wild.
All right. Cam Talbot, Kevin Fiala. For Josh, for me, it's Jake Allen, Yaroslav Halak, my goalies, and Elias Pettersson, my hat trick pick. All right. We got to get out of here. NFL show coming up. For producer Mike, for Joshua Harris, I'm Slim Cliffy, Michael Clifford saying good luck tonight, everybody.
Is it over?